The city was alive that bright morning, its glass towers glinting like blades of light under the sun, but inside a quiet mansion on the hill, a single man's decision was about to change 4 women's lives, and reveal something so unexpected that it silenced even the wealthiest tongues in town. His name was Adrian Cole, a man whose fortune had been built from steel oil and sleepless decades of sacrifice. To the world, Adrian was untouchable, a figure who commanded empires, but to himself he was a man nearing the dusk of his years with one nagging question in his chest: who truly deserved his trust? If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the hidden worth inside people the world often overlooks, pause right now to like this video, subscribe to Kindness Journal, and share it with someone who needs hope today. Let's spread these stories together. Adrian had no wife, no children, and no direct heir. But he had 4 women in his orbit, each entwined in his life in very different ways. The first was Vanessa, a glamorous socialite known for her shimmering gowns and perfect smile that could light up an entire gala. She had been close to Adrian for years, attending his charity balls and often flattering him with the kind of attention that soothed an old man's loneliness. Then there was Clarissa, a sharp businesswoman whose ambition burned hotter than any flame. She had once been Adrian's protégée, learning the ropes of corporate conquest under his guidance, and now she sat on boards of her own, hungering for more. The third was Evelyn, a longtime family friend who had known Adrian since his youth, a woman whose charm lay in her nostalgia, always reminding him of where he had come from. And lastly, there was Rosa, the maid of the household. A quiet figure in her 30s, Rosa moved silently through the marble corridors with her head bowed and her hands busy, invisible to the glittering world that orbited her employer. One afternoon, Adrian summoned them all to his sprawling dining hall. The women took their seats at a long mahogany table polished so bright it mirrored their faces. Sunlight poured through towering windows, casting long shadows that seemed to stretch toward the unknown. Adrian entered slowly, his silver hair combed back, his cane tapping against the marble. With deliberate motion, he placed 4 sleek, black cards on the table, each one gleaming with the insignia of limitless privilege. "These," he said, his voice calm but heavy, "are unlimited cards. They have no spending limit. Each of you will receive one. For the next month, I will not ask you how you spend, where you go, or what you do. But when the time is done, I will ask to see, not the numbers, not the totals, but the choices you made. And from that, I will decide who among you is worthy of my final trust." Gasps rippled across the table. Vanessa's eyes widened with the sparkle of diamonds. Clarissa's lips curled into a calculating grin. Evelyn sighed dreamily, and Rosa kept her eyes lowered, unsure why she had even been included in such a strange test. She was just a maid after all. The following weeks unfolded like a drama only fate itself could script. Vanessa was the first to unleash her card. Boutiques across the city soon buzzed with her presence. She walked through racks of silk gowns, sliding her fingers across fabrics worth thousands, buying entire collections in a single breath. Jewelers smiled until their cheeks ached as she ordered tiaras, necklaces, and rings that glittered like captured stars. Every dinner was in a 5-star restaurant, every night a swirl of champagne bubbles and whispered gossip. Yet beneath the glamour, her purchases spoke only of vanity, not vision. Clarissa wielded her card with the precision of a business general. She stormed into boardrooms and closed deals with cold efficiency, pouring millions into stocks, acquisitions, and ventures designed to double and triple. Her eyes gleamed not with gratitude but with hunger, each swipe of the card a strategic strike in her relentless quest for dominance. She wasn't spending for joy or giving, but building an empire on someone else's foundation. Evelyn's approach was softer. She used the card to rekindle old memories, buying a summer villa in the countryside where she had once visited as a girl. She hired orchestras to play the music Adrian had loved in his youth and filled rooms with paintings that reminded him of days long gone. But while Evelyn's intentions seemed tender, her spending revealed a desire to bind Adrian to the past, to make him depend on her nostalgia rather than building a future. And then there was Rosa. She didn't touch the card for the first week. It sat in her apron pocket like a weight she could not carry. She lived simply, ate simply, and spent her hours polishing the brass stair rails and folding the linens of the mansion, the same as always. But one night, walking home through the narrow streets where broken roofs leaked and barefoot children played with scraps of tin, Rosa stopped. Her neighbors, her family, her people, They were drowning in need. Mothers stood in ration lines, elders shivered without medicine, and children shared one meal among three. She clutched the black card in her palm and trembled. The next morning, Rosa acted. She entered a worn-down grocery store and bought every bag of rice and flour, every bottle of oil, and every box of milk. She arranged for trucks to deliver the goods to her neighborhood. She swiped again to pay the hospital bills of families who had resigned themselves to suffering. She found a group of abandoned children and enrolled them in a school, handing them new uniforms and books still warm from the printer. With each swipe, her tears grew heavier, because the card wasn't just money. It was a key to dignity for people who had forgotten what hope felt like. Rosa never kept a coin for herself. She returned each night to her small room by the servants' quarters, her life unchanged except for the glow in her heart. 30 days passed, and the mansion once again filled with tension. Adrian summoned them all back to the dining hall. The cards lay on the table again, this time worn with use. Vanessa was radiant in her new jewels, Clarissa sat with an air of victory, Evelyn smiled with gentle confidence, and Rosa's hand shook as she placed her card down. Adrian leaned forward, his eyes sharp despite his age. "Now," he said, "show me who you are." Vanessa went first, parading photographs of her lavish purchases. "Look at the beauty I brought into my life. And into yours, Adrian. With me, the world will always be radiant." Clarissa followed, handing over a thick portfolio. "I turned your money into more. I multiplied it. If you choose me, your legacy will never fade." Evelyn then presented her villa and orchestras, her painted landscapes and sentimental gestures. "I gave you memories, Adrian, a future filled with the warmth of the past." Finally, Rosa rose. She didn't have glossy photos or shiny jewels. Instead, she pulled out a stack of letters, small, crumpled notes written in crooked handwriting. They were from mothers, children, and elders. "Thank you for saving my son. Thank you for giving me food. Thank you for letting me dream." Her voice cracked as she whispered, "I don't deserve to be here. I only did what I thought was right. I didn't spend a single coin on myself. But if I had 1,000 cards, I would do the same." The hall was silent. Even Vanessa's bracelets seemed to stop shimmering, even Clarissa's confidence faltered, even Evelyn's smile dimmed. Adrian's hands trembled as he picked up the letters, one by one, reading the words of strangers who had found light in their darkest days. Tears rolled down his cheeks, not of weakness but of recognition. At last he stood. "All of you showed me something. Vanity, ambition, memory, but Rosa showed me humanity. She turned my wealth into hope. She reminded me that legacy is not built in diamonds or stocks or nostalgia. Legacy is built in the lives we lift." With a decisive motion, Adrian walked to Rosa and pressed the remaining 3 cards into her hands. Vanessa gasped. Clarissa's jaw dropped. Evelyn wept silently. Adrian's voice rang steady as a bell. "From this day, Rosa, you will carry forward what I leave behind. My wealth is yours, not to own, but to use for good, because you more than anyone understood its true purpose." The world outside never forgot the day a maid rose higher than socialites, business titans, and lifelong friends. Rosa became a force of kindness in the city, building schools, hospitals, and homes, never once seeking glory, always remembering the weight of that first black card in her apron pocket. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe to Kindness Journal, and share it with someone who believes in the power of kindness and humility. Let's remind the world that even the unseen can carry the greatest light.